Hey yo, it's Alice. I want to imagine for a moment that the objective of the ongoing joint US and Israeli military strikes is to destroy, or at least cripple, the Iranian nuclear weapons program. This is, at least, one of the many contradictory justifications offered. So I'm running with it. I'm going to do what I love doing and use a bit of history, game theory, and logic to see how this would play out. So press pause, get some coffee, settle back, and press play again. Suppose we have a tyrant named Alice. In her previous life, she was a poli-sci wonk and decided to explore her dark side. Bad girl. She wants to create a credible nuclear weapons program. What does she need? Sufficient fissile materials such as highly enriched uranium, 90% plus of U-235, or plutonium-239, industrial capability for precision manufacturing, a reliable delivery system, weaponization to produce a compact, missile-mountable warhead, comprehensive testing and validation, and secure command and control. She puts together a project plan. But then Alice discovers that while producing weapons-grade material is essential, progressing from that point to a fully deployable nuclear arsenal can take decades. What's a megalomaniacal girl to do? North Korea illustrates this timeline well. Although it had the ability to produce weapons-grade plutonium in the mid-1980s with the Yongbyon reactor, it didn't develop its first nuclear device until 2003 to 2006. It likely created a compact, miniaturized warhead by 2016 and fielded viable ICBM delivery systems, the Hwasong-14 and Hwasong-15, by 2017. All told, roughly 30 to 40 years. It should be noted that North Korea's nuclear weapons program was likely accelerated by tech transfers from Pakistan. Iran has similarly benefited from the AQCon network. Sadly for Alice, our fearless dictator, she doesn't have a cadre of corrupt nuclear physicists to help her. I'm not saying that Iran's pace of development will be as slow, but there is no credible public evidence showing that Iran was likely to field a tested, miniaturized, deployable nuclear warhead within the next 2 years. Added to this fact is that Iran's most likely target, Israel, has a sophisticated layered air and missile defense architecture that includes David's Sling, Iron Dome, Arrow, Iron Beam, and Iron Man. Sorry, the last one was from a Marvel movie. Anyway, this means that 1 or 2 crude warheads wouldn't provide deterrence reliability. Iran's current regime is widely regarded as dangerous due to its support for militant groups and designated terrorist organizations. Yet diplomacy has historically slowed its nuclear program. Unlike North Korea, which is insular, poor, economically isolated, and led by a monomaniacal panda god, Iran remains connected to the world through trade, an educated population, a sizable middle class, and a large diaspora. Though it is a repressive theocracy that has repeatedly crushed dissent by killing thousands of its own people, from the 1988 prison massacres to the nationwide crackdowns of 2025 to 26, it still faces internal pressure from society and occasionally adjusts under that pressure. These structural differences make negotiations difficult, but more feasible with Iran than with North Korea. Under the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, signed in 2015, Iran reduced its enrichment levels to 3.67%, reduced the number of centrifuges, reduced stockpiles of enriched uranium, and the IAEA gained expanded inspection authority. When the first Trump administration unilaterally tore up the agreement in 2018, it weakened the U.S. bargaining position for future administrations, because Iran had no reason to believe the U.S. could maintain a consistent policy from one administration to the next, when the next could tear up an agreement with no cost for doing so. This creates what us poli-sci wonks call a commitment problem, when a commitment is seen as unreliable based on priors. In 2003, according to the Iranian government, Ayatollah Khamenei stated that the use of weapons of mass destruction was haram, which is what a religious prescription is called in Islam. After the abrogation of the JCPOA, that prescription didn't quite stop them from achieving 60% plus enrichment, according to IAEA reports. This suggests that Tehran concluded that only a nuclear deterrent could prevent hostile action taken by a future U.S. or Israeli administration. Their fears were confirmed in 2025, when its nuclear facilities in Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan were bombed. Early public intelligence reporting suggested the program was damaged, but not clearly destroyed, and subsequent official public estimates diverged on the scale of the setback. Maxar Technologies' satellite images from June 19 to 20, 2025, showed around 16 cargo trucks positioned near tunnel entrances at the Fordow enrichment plant, shortly before the U.S. strikes. This has led some to believe that the material was moved prior to the strikes. CNN and the New York Times, citing U.S. officials, reported intelligence indicating that some enriched uranium was moved out of targeted sites prior to the bombing, possibly to undeclared locations. Military strikes may have degraded Iran's program, but, if the regime survives, they may treat a nuclear threshold as an urgent deterrent, and it is unclear that their ability to move forward with such a program has been crippled. Available indicators don't point that way. U.S. demands remain unclear. If the real aim is regime change, Tehran has no reason to negotiate. If the aim is constraints on missiles and enrichment, talks are possible, but any workable deal will converge on JCPOA-style trade-offs, verifiable limits in exchange for relief. But, given that a significant part of Iran's military and security leadership have been killed, and the current Ayatollah, Mojtaba Khamenei, lost his wife, son, and father, negotiations will likely be tough. They might be pragmatic, but I wouldn't really count on that. It's ironic that the current round of hostilities, resulting in hundreds of dead and wounded civilians, dead U.S. servicemen, and billions spent, may get us back to a JCPOA-style deal that Trump walked away from in 2018. Trump did not escape the logic of the JCPOA. Assuming he rediscovers it, he will have done so only after burning through lives, money, and credibility.